When you're working with heavily pigmented color or color that has a lot of sparkle or shimmer in it, this is one tip that you can do, is do the eyes first and the skin later. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to put actually a little bit of foundation over the eyes so I have a little bit of a base to work with. I'm using just a little bit of vanilla foundation, just placing color all the way across the whole lid. And it, again, it just setting up my canvas so that it just takes out any imperfections of tone in the eyelid and kind of makes it perfect. Next thing I'm going to do is, because I'm not using a pencil or any creams, I've got to take this, which is a little bit of a cream finish, and change it to a powder texture. So first thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of my Naked loose powder, and I'm going to dust powder across the whole eyelid. So now, when you're going from texture to texture, is put powder to powder and cream to cream. So now I'm ready for any powdery eyeshadow. I'm going to grab the large eyeshadow brush, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of a base color of Driftwood eyeshadow over the whole lid. And I'm doing this to get just a little bit more intensity of color when I apply the brown-eyed girl. The next is I'm going to take the medium fluffy eyeshadow brush, and let's go dark. Let's go for it. I'm going to use the darkest shade in the brown-eyed girl, and I'm going to dust it right across the whole lid. So because of the medium fluffy, that's a great brush for dusting across the whole lid. Again, you want to use the size of the brush for the area in which you're applying. So if I want to get to a more defined space, if I'm really looking to fill in an area that's small and narrow, I'm going to use a smaller brush. And I'm taking that color, as you can see, right up to right beyond the crease. Now with the small eyeshadow brush, I'm going right into the darkest brown, the brown-eyed quad, and going right in at the lash line so that I can control the application and make sure that I have it all set in. The large multi-purpose brush, again, I'm just going to go in with the lightest shade as a highlighter right at the brow bone. Now, the one part that's going to get a little tricky is I'm going to actually do a little bit of brown underneath Carly's eyes, but I'm going to do it after the fact because I want to clean up everything a little bit first and take that concealer up. So we're going to clean up underneath the eye, but I love already that kind of wash of sparkle that, whenever you put something brown and with a little bit of warmth around an eye, her hazel eyes even become that much more vibrant and that much greener. So any color with depth around a little bit of a lighter eye will really, really intensify that eye color. So now we're going to take a step forward, backwards. Hidden Agenda concealer palette. We have won an incredible number of awards with this palette. And again, it's, talking about palettes, it's one of those things you can mix and match and do whatever you want to do with it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that neutralizer. This green really covers up redness super, super, super easy. I'm going to take a little bit of the lighter shade. Most young girls I know do not require that much concealer, so it's just a light application. I take it right into under the lash line. And then another area that's always, people don't think about is this little outer corner of redness that you have on the outer corners of your eyes right here. Just covering that up with a little bit of concealer. And the coverage on this is, probably a medium coverage concealer. So I'm using the Vanilla Perfecting Luminous foundation. And I'm going to actually use my blending sponge to keep it nice and sheer that I've dampened. And the thing that's great about this sponge is that you have control of, it's really easy to hold, number one. You can get in there and really control where you want to be. She's got some redness in the cheek, so I'm putting it on the cheek. I have put no foundation here on her cheek, but the color matches up perfectly. There's no reason for Carly to have foundation there because the skin is perfect. So only put your foundation where it's needed. Now look at the difference of what a foundation can do just to toning redness. I'm going right over a little bit of the lip, and I'm going to get right in there over that concealer that I applied from the Hidden Agenda into the nose area to tone that color up, and just a little bit right over the concealer. Again, just back around that lip line, around the areas around the nose, which this blending sponge fits in so beautifully. Now that we've done the skin, I'm gonna be really careful. I'm gonna take a Kleenex and I'm gonna go right underneath the eye, and I'm gonna actually take some of that brown from the quad under the whole eye, from the outer eye to the inner eye. Last bit to do before I put on mascara, I'm just gonna clean up the brow just a little bit. And definitely with Carly, it's just a straight black mascara. If you really want to get way in there, you can actually like do a little shimmy right into the base of that lash. Now, Carly already has a lot of great color in her cheeks, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more, and I'm gonna use the Petal Cream Blush with the flat top blusher brush and just get a little bit on the surface of my brush. And then I'm just going to blend it right into the apples of the cheek, working in little circular motions. And what that does is just, it kind of covers up that overly bright redness, and then I'm just adding in more of a natural glow of just a light pinky cheek and keeping it really fresh. And by working this brush in these round circular motions here, it eliminates any lines, so you can't really see where it's all beginning or it's ending. This is a great powder. This is a highlighting powder, and you use it right in the inner corners of the eyes here to touch up and just brightens up. It's just a really nice brightening powder that adds a little bit of brightness right into that inner eye area. You know, this is a great powder that's super sheer. You can use a little bit of it right along the nose, but super simple and clean. I'm gonna use the Nude Whisper Lip Pencil. I like coloring in the whole lip. Keep it super soft, and I always will take my finger and even soften that line up even more. If you wanna start in, work your way out. Start on the outside, work your way in. I always use a lip brush because it helps me to control the application. If I wanna keep it thin and sheer, I use a smaller amount. If I wanted to go heavier, I just apply a bit more. Now this color that I'm using is one of those colors that's called Mauvey. And I call this universal color because this is one of those colors that's definitely a makeup bag must-have. Last thing I'm gonna do is just put on a little bit of gloss. Isn't that like your own lips, only better? That's it.